Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Desert Farmer Podcast. Look at that. It's almost like we meant to do that. Right. Hopefully it was right into it. Anyhow, so I just want to, first of all, welcome you guys to the Desert Farmer Podcast, episode 71. Okay, this one's definitely going to be an episode for the archives. So we have plenty of show and tell today. So we are going to be showing you a lot of information as well as giving you a lot of information. So for those of you who are on the listen only, I know there's a few of you out there. This is definitely one that's probably worth going back, especially if any of these nurseries kind of float your boat or interest you, going back and seeing kind of where we access those. Although I will tell you, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you type these names into a Google search, you're going to find it. But definitely a question that we get all the time. In fact, we got it again today. I just replied back to a comment that came down a couple hours ago, and it was asking where to buy peaches and apples. And a lot of you out there probably already know my answer, but I thought it was very timely. So before we get started, I have a couple of our housekeeping notes, and housekeeping note number one is what?
If you have a question, if you could just write the word question before you state your question, that way it stands out to me and I hopefully don't miss it.
Yes, so Lori's going to be down looking at the comments, keeping you guys in line, and she will probably make a comment or two there as well. But in order for her to know you actually have a question you want answered here live today, it's easier if you put the word question, capitalize, put it in, parentheses, highlight it somehow. That way we know it's a question for us. And then housekeeping note number two is give us a thumbs up. If you enjoy the content, particularly this podcast, giving us a thumbs up helps us not only today, but in the future as this goes into our archives and folks know, hey, this is one that people enjoyed. So give us a thumbs up. All right, so while we're waiting and allowing some additional people to get here, it always takes a good 10 to 15 minutes for everybody to arrive. So while we're doing that, hang in there. We've got a couple of highlights we want to share with you guys. A couple of them are personal and have to do with me. And the first one, well, I know I've got the two, but it's the first one was the doctor's visit, right? So one of the things that you guys are probably aware of, if you're here this early, I'm sure you guys are probably regulars, but Lori and I changed our diets drastically last spring. So it was after my annual physical. I went there and learned that I had a combination of things that are really bad news. First one was high blood sugar. Yes, I had gained about 25 to 30 pounds and I had high cholesterol. And so those things in combination, and my blood pressure was a little bit high. So all those things are bad, right? So, being the 51-year-old that I was last year, I decided it was time to get a little more serious. Now, we've always eaten pretty clean. Right. Yeah. So for the last 20 years we have, but one of the things that we really didn't pay extra attention to was sugar. And it was a lot of natural sugar, but it was a lot of carbohydrates nonetheless. And as you get older, those things can start catching up to you. And so we decided that we were going to do a very, very low carbohydrate diet, keto-ish, but kind of focus more on fats and proteins and very, very few carbohydrates. So we're below 50 grams of carbohydrates every single day. And there are several days we're probably down at about 20 or less. And so we also do intermittent fasting. So we do not eat from 5 o'clock in the evening until 9 o'clock the next morning. So we do that pretty religiously. And otherwise, we eat just about anything we want. So we focus heavily on meat and vegetables. So our priority is meat, vegetables, and then fruit. And fruit only off of this farm. We don't eat fruit from anywhere else. So that is our diet. That's the vast majority of our diet. So went to the doctor, got blood work done, and my blood sugars are perfect. Actually, my fasting blood sugar is the lowest it's ever been in my entire life. It was 89. The rest of the A1C and everything were perfectly normal. And my cholesterol has gone down. Overall cholesterol has gone down. So figure that out, right? More saturated fat than I've ever eaten in my entire life. And I will continue to do that because it tastes fantastic and all my blood work is in line. So the LDL has been high. It's come down substantially, but the HDL is 92. So if you guys know how those numbers work, 92 is pretty darn good. It's off the charts as far as your good cholesterol is concerned. Either way, it went really good. Blood pressure was normal, all that great fine stuff. So that was exciting stuff, and a testament to the fact that this diet works. It works. So, and it's very easy to do. We were talking about this last night as we're eating a wonderful cheating meal, because we do that once a week. We're having tamales. Definitely not in that category. But we're just talking about the fact that it's so easy for us to just do a single cheating meal, because the food that we make and eat tastes fantastic, right? So, and really don't miss the rest of it. So that was number one. And then number two, if I sound a little funny today, it's because I got a tooth pulled. So I got a tooth pulled over here.
We weren't sure if we'd make it today.
I didn't know if I was going to make it, especially yesterday. It was pretty sore yesterday. But Tylenol and ibuprofen, those are doing their job. So, but overall, that's going to eventually be an implant. I had a crown done that basically failed. So it was the Dr. Hammond, who does, what is he? What
Oral
is he called?
surgeon.
Oh, oral. Okay, there you go. But he does. He did a quick kind of looked at it a bit, and I had a crown done and then redone because I was getting sensitivity. And he said, there's a little bit of swelling there, so chances are good. It was a cracked tooth. He said chances are good. There's still a crack down there, and it's just further down. So you really can't save it anyway. So he yanked it, and an implant is coming.
Yep.
All right. So either way, exciting stuff there. And then I think we had one more update. What was it?
Well, we had gotten, I think we have already shared this over the past, month or so. We've gotten 2 days where we had some rain. So we've gotten a little bit of rain.
But a single, boom.
Rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't back-to-back rains. No. It was rain.
Light rain, not heavy. Decent rain, not super heavy, but like a week in between.
Yeah. Yeah, they were separated.
So what do we have now?
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, fantastic. So we do get mosquitoes here during the summertime, and it's because of the wash. So we're right next to the largest wash in Whitman, and the Ilona wash. And that one, all it takes is some water in there. And there's some pools back in there that wind up with water, and we wind up with mosquitoes. They usually last about a week or two, and then the hot weather kills them off. And so, yeah, so we're out there in long sleeves and pants. But this morning was very comfortable. We were down in this upper 60s this morning, which for the middle of September is pretty unheard of. It was nice to have to wear pants and a long sleeve this morning because it was comfortable, right?
Yeah,
and,
it was nice.
Yeah,
but it made us not want to do anything outside, so we actually were inside most of the day doing things and then not having anything to do and not knowing what to do with ourselves.
No, well, instructions from my doctor for the first week were don't lift anything over 3 pounds. That's hard for somebody who farms and is used to lifting feed bags and everything else. We got trees we want to plant.
He got a tooth pulled and he can't lift anything.
I don't understand that either. How can you not lift things when you get a tooth pulled? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So, but I'm a rule follower when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
he's like, you got to go do all the work.
Worked out pretty good. Worked out pretty good. See what I did there? Okay, so I think we got a good enough crew here. So, and some regulars. Do we have any quick questions before we jump into the topic of today?
No.
Hey, that works out good. No. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, I do have show and tell. So we are gonna go to I don't think I counted this. I think we have about a dozen, 12 to 15 different nurseries that we're gonna share with you guys today. Every one of these nurseries we have purchased from and had success. So there were a couple that didn't make the list, but that we haven't been successful. I'm not going to name them here. It was an online nursery that we didn't have a single tree survive, or at least a very low percentage of them survived.
And this also, obviously there's other nurseries out there online that I'm sure are fantastic. Mm-hmm. We just didn't put them on the list if we personally haven't bought from them.
Correct. So these are all nurseries either here locally in Arizona, which is what we're going to start with, or online nurseries that we've purchased from either some type of production tree. So a fruit tree or vine or bush of some sort that we've purchased from these different nurseries and been successful with, right here in Arizona. Now, the first ones we're going to go through are local nurseries. To my knowledge, I don't think any of them will ship anything. So for those of you on the pod or that are listening or watching, the second half is online nurseries. Those will apply to everyone, okay? But we are going to go ahead and jump right in here. So I apologize how this is formatted, but our software kind of is the best way for it to work. So this first one is our number one suggested nursery here in Arizona. This is RSI Growers. Reed, you'll hear us talk to or refer to Reed at RSI Growers. This is his website. He is located here in Glendale, Arizona, so the center part of the Phoenix area. He does not ship, so you would need to go get these from Reed. Now, the challenge that we have is he lost a large amount of his production last year to the sunshine, and he is trying to kind of get that built back up. He's also seen just a huge influx of business. After a couple of people out in Whitman started talking about his farm, it definitely probably helped a little bit. But we've been referring people to Reed since before you guys knew we even existed. So we started buying from him, I want to say back in 2012 or 13. And then we really started buying heavily from him once we got out to Whitman and we had more space. So he is a treasure for us here in Arizona. He is an ex-Marine, and he's a little rough around the edges sometimes, but he definitely knows what he's doing. I can go on, but we have a long list to get through, but I wanted to start with him. Every time we have somebody ask about stone fruit, palm fruit, which is citrus if he's got it, any of these if he's got it, citrus, stone fruit, which is your peaches, pears, plums, things like that. What? Not pears. Sorry, peaches, plums. There you go.
Yeah.
I like to blame it on the medication, but it's Tylenol. It's really. But stone fruit, palm fruit, so that's pears, apples, things like that, and citrus. So, and I might have already said citrus twice, but he does his own rootstocks here in Arizona. They're wonderful rootstocks, and we have been more successful with his trees than we have been with other trees of similar types that we found elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So highly, highly recommend him. So that is our first one. So second one that I have up here for you guys, sorry about this, but it's kind of how this works, is Richard's Garden Center. So now
their website is really weird, so it's not, they don't have their website formatted very good.
No, but, and I'm still struggling with, there we go. So now I got to move this around so you guys can see it okay. But either way, so that is Richard's Garden Center, and this one, the website is kind of really just a place marker more than anything. These guys are up off of I-17, and what's the crossroad?
It's like between Joe Max and it's like right near Joe Max, isn't it?
I think it's between them. It's on the. What's weird about that one? It's
on the frontage road, so you have to, depending on what direction. It's like a weird way to get to it.
It's hard to get to it because it's located on the frontage road. Mm-hmm. But we bought several trees from them. Yeah. Done really, really well. Mm-hmm. We bought citrus from them. We bought some fig trees from them.
We bought our first 4 loquats from this property from them.
Correct. So
this most recent pecan tree from them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we've had a lot of success with them. If you're anywhere in the Phoenix area, they're on the north side of town, but they do a great job, and it's a bang-up nursery for us. So we really do well with them. Next one you guys will probably recognize if you're here in Arizona. That's Summer Winds Nursery. So you guys can see them here. They've got several locations here in Arizona, and they are really kind of geared more towards. They're a full assortment nursery. So they've got veggies, they've got flowers, they've got everything. So it's not just trees. Richard's Garden Center is similar to that. So they've got a lot of different things there. You can get plant starts and everything, even cactuses and things like that, or cacti. But that is also another wonderful nursery we've had very, very good success with. We've purchased citrus from them. We did purchase stone fruit from them in the past. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether or not we've gotten figs, but we do get plant starts from them. So typically when we're looking, like our artichokes, I know the last couple of years we've gotten some starts from them, have done wonderfully, and a very, very good local nursery for us here. So they do have fruit trees. You guys know we always suggest RSI growers first, but a lot of times Reed doesn't have a lot of inventory, and so another backup would be a good one here. They'll have your standard Dave Wilson trees that are
and their citrus is from the Sunset.
Correct. So that is one thing about us. We talked about Richard's Garden Center having citrus. All these local nurseries always do, and at least from what I've seen, these local nurseries wind up having the Sunset Nursery citrus, which is the correct rootstock. So
it's Arizona grown.
It's Arizona grown rootstock. and they are fantastic. It's pretty much all we have out here. Well, it is all we have on this farm is those rootstocks and a handful from Reed. So, but Summerwind's a great option. So next one coming up here for you guys is Elgin Nursery. So another one on the west side of town. So this is a smaller nursery that's located down off of I-10, and I don't remember the crossroad, but it's out on the west side. They have, again, it's a neat, small, little local nursery. They have a lot of different things there, like plant starts and things like that. We have purchased, at least, I believe our Meyer lemon came from this nursery, but a neat little nursery on the west side. And again, a local place that does a great job supporting all of us in our fruit tree growing endeavors. We just haven't been there too many times. I think I've maybe been there twice. Have you even been there?
I think I've been there once.
Okay. So, and I think it really was citrus, I think is what we were focused on.
Yeah.
So the Meyer lemon we got there, and did we get the pomelo there as well?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember for sure. But another really good local nursery for us here on the west side. The next one we have for you here is Whitfield Nursery. Now, this one's been around for quite some time. I'm not sure what's going on with their website here, but they do have trees, so you can see as you kind of look through their website here, they've got they got it broken down into, like desert adapted trees, fruit trees, and things like that. They do have a couple of locations. They have one in Gilbert, so here's one for you east side of towners. This one is a full line nursery, so they have your plant starts, they've got your fruit trees, bushes, all that kind of wonderful jazz. But again, a wonderful local place for us here in Arizona, and a full line nursery. So I think one of the things that we don't do a whole lot of here is we don't share a lot of like vegetable gardening, things like that. We do in-ground gardening. We have our garden beds, and so we do that. But we really try to start a lot of things from seed. So we don't buy a lot of starts. And for the most part, when it comes to starts, I kind of get them wherever we can, because it's hard for us to get to some of these places. So we'll wind up at Home Depot or Lowe's for basic things like a tomato plant or something if we want a plant to start.
Yeah,
right?
and if we're there, we'd go ahead and just grab it because we're there.
Right, because we're already there. But whenever we really want something specific, we go to these local nurseries, and Whitfield's another great option for us. So moving along, got a couple more for you guys here. So this is the Urban Farm Fruit Tree Program. This one is hosted by Greg Peterson, who finally moved out of Arizona, been here for decades, but he still has that fruit tree program going here in Arizona. We've bought several trees from this, especially on the old farm. We've got a couple of them here. In fact, our black Pakistan mulberries came from his program. And fortunately, they were actually black Pakistans. And so that's what's in our nursery now, is descendants of those. But just kind of scrolling through this, you can see he does Dave Wilson trees, and they're right in the middle of their early bird signups. And so there's usually discounts and specials and things like that. And the trees and bushes and vines that he has in his nursery are all proven winners for us here in Arizona. And the rootstocks, while not ideal, are better than what you'll typically find at, say, like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, which you won't find them on this list. But another great option for us here in Arizona, and these are bare root trees that you pick up in January timeframe, or citrus that you pick up either in the fall here or in the spring. And another wonderful resource for us here, and what's great about it is that the trees that they sell, we've talked about the fact that this can be challenging with places like Home Depot and Lowe's, is they are varieties that will grow here, rootstocks that are better, so still better, not ideal maybe as RSI growers, but better, and should survive on you. We really haven't had problems with them. They just don't grow and produce as well as his, but in our experience. But these all will do well for us here in Arizona. And again, local pickup only, to my knowledge, that he doesn't ship either. And then there's another cool little nursery up in the way, way, way northwest side of town, and that's, oh, look, it's Edge of Nowhere Farm. So if you guys scroll down on our products page, you can't punch through anymore because we weren't selling these over the summer because we didn't want to, but you can see we have a couple of different varieties that we still have available. All of these are started from trees here on the farm, so these are all completely Arizona grown. And we've narrowed it down to just trees that we're going to propagate ourselves. So right now we have the Violet de Bardot fig, and we have the panache fig. And all those are started from the trees here on the farm, and they're all about almost 2 years old. So we've got them in 5-gallon pots. And
we had done mulberries, but we have sold through all the mulberries, so we need to do some more.
Yep, sold out of the mulberries, but we are going to be propagating more this winter, and so we're going to be shifting around the nursery a little bit, moving it and expanding it, and we're going to focus on the varieties that we know do really, really well and are harder to find. And also, typically you'll find them and they're just not the real variety. So they're the wrong variety. So meaning you went to buy, say, a Violet de Bordeaux fig and you got something else. You know, that happens a lot with nurseries.
Tags got mixed up.
Right. You know, and a nursery does they didn't do that to you. Some grower somewhere either didn't know or misshipped or tag got missing, whatever the case may be. But they're fairly easy for us to propagate, and we know that it's the right variety. So we've got those 2 fig varieties. We'll probably do those again. I don't know. We'll do the panache. We may not. Those are pretty easy to find. But the Violet de Bordeaux, probably the Black Madeira. And so I know that one for sure. And we've got some other cool varieties that are a little unique or odd, and we'll probably do some of those as well. And then we're going to do 3 mulberry varieties. So we will have the Black Pakistan, we'll have the Everbearing, and we'll have the Shangri-La. Mm-hmm. So those are the 3 that we're going to propagate. We had the Black Pakistan and Shangri-La. We sold out of all those. And then we need to add the Everbearing, because that one is a wonderful small bush, well, smaller
you can keep
tree.
It more as a bush.
Right. So for those of you who have a smaller space. So we'll have those as well. So, and that nursery, by the way, does not ship either. I've heard. That's my understanding.
No shipping.
So, yep. So let me get kind of set up here, guys, because what I want to do, we're going to bounce into online nurseries. So the nurseries are going to be showing you here. These can apply to anybody, anywhere in the country. So these are not Arizona specific. They are going to ship to you. A lot of these have bare root trees that are just coming into their pre-sale or their sale period. So they're selling them basically now over the next 30 to 60 days, and they will ship them in the middle of winter. And all of these understand that we're in Arizona. We break dormancy early, and they ship here earlier. A lot of these you'll find they'll be shipping in January, maybe into February, coming to us if they're bare root. And then there's also some here that are actually shipping potted trees. But most important thing with this, we've got several of these for you. These will ship anywhere in the United States, okay? And a lot of times these are, so keep that in mind if you're here in Arizona, because these websites will have trees that will not do well here. Either they won't grow at all, or they won't do well. Are you texting somebody while we're on a live stream again?
I'm listening.
Oh my goodness.
I'm multitasking.
Oh, you know what? But either way, so they will ship across the country, but remember here in Arizona that some of these may or may not do well. So while Lori's playing on her phone, let's go ahead and dive right into this. The first one that we have is Stark Bros. Now, this one we've been buying from for the better part of 2 decades, almost 2 decades. So we started buying from them very early on while we were still living in the city and looking for trees that we couldn't find here. We found them. And I said 2 decades. Well, yeah, we're in our second decade of buying from them, because our first tree, I think we bought in 2010 or 2011, maybe 2012 from these guys. So they've been around a long time. They do a great job. Just let me kind of slide this over. You can see it a little bit better. But you can see here they've got specials. One of the things I like about this website is they do a very good job of breaking things out by growing zone. And so I don't know whether you're going to be able to pick it up here on my little screenshot, but they have a lot of different fruiting trees, vines, and shrubs. They can break it down by growing zone. So they usually, somewhere in there, they'll ask for your growing zone, and it'll at least narrow things down a bit for you to things that will generally grow better in your growing zone. So if you're not here in Arizona, fantastic resource, because it's going to narrow things down to your growing zone. I know we do have folks that are way up in the Northeast that are a heck of a lot colder than us. So they're going to have varieties for you, and they will have varieties for us here in Arizona as well. So this one is typically the one that I send folks to first, because the assortment is really good, and the fact that you can break it down by growing zone is really kind of nice. Mm-hmm. And they all kind of have the growing zones, but Stark Bros does a good job of specifying things that grow in your area. So as you're kind of looking through, you can look at apples that do well for us here. Now, I will tell you, Arizona is very unique. And so they will put things in there that still won't do well here because the growing zone might be okay, but our hot, dry weather does not necessarily mean it'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know, like we talk about fall apples, they don't work here. They just don't. And so, you know, we're still trying to get a fall apple into the fall and ripe. We've gotten some little tiny ones, you know, a gala apple that's literally the size of a quarter. And so, but otherwise, it's a good resource for pretty much anybody. So Stark Rose is great. The next one up on the list, this is Rain Tree. Now, hopefully you can see this. Again, sorry about the formatting here, guys. But this is Rain Tree Nursery. I'll slide it over for you so you can see the website a little bit better. There you go. So this one is another one that are very common that we'll send folks over to this. I think the one thing about this one that sets it apart is they have some very, very unusual varieties. So as you're going up in here looking at the different types of trees and vines and whatnot that they sell, there's just a lot of different ones. So I'm going to hover over berries, for example. Now, I'm too far away to read it. You guys may be able to, but they've got all these different types of berries. So, you know, if you guys are feeling a little adventurous, you know, you can bounce into here and maybe try a few things that maybe wouldn't normally be something we would grow here in Arizona, and you can snag it and give it a shot. And we've done our fair share of tests. And so this is a good nursery located up in the Pacific Northwest that you might be able to find some unique things if you want to try them out. So the one thing I will tell you is the rootstocks that come out of this particular nursery are generally not conducive to us here in Arizona. So if you're looking for, an apple tree that Reed doesn't carry or he doesn't have them and you're wanting to order online or something like that, be cautious with that because the rootstocks are definitely for the Pacific Northwest or something similar and will not survive here. Will not survive. So just be careful with that. I really focus more on like berries and things like that, or I think they had some jujubes at one point in time. Those rootstocks are going to be fine here or there. It won't matter. And so for things like that where the rootstock may not be as critical, this is a great one. And then I just love it for the different types of berries. So that is Rain Tree Nursery. The next one is a cool one that we found a few years back. In fact, height of COVID, they struggled a little bit getting some inventory in, but otherwise this one's been a great option for us here, and that is groworganic.com. And the focus here for us has been fruit trees, and they have some great options for us, especially maybe some of the more unique type varieties. But one of the things you'll find on all of these is you'll find figs, which are generally not on a rootstock. They're grown on just cuttings. And again, things like jujubes and whatnot that the rootstocks are going to be good no matter where you're at. But Grow Organic is a great option, and they do have some organic options. So if you really are that strict, I personally don't care about a plant start being organic or not. I'll take care of that from here, thanks, is how I feel about it. But if you wanted truly organic, they do have some options. And then kind of like what you're seeing on the screen there, some certified organic seeds and whatnot. Garlic's a good example. We got garlic going in here next month. But a great option there that we found a few years back. We got some, I want to say not our Thompson grapes, but I think our Flame grapes and our Zinfandels came from them. I'm pretty sure. And I know that they have their bare roots, or they will have their bare roots ready to ship here, and they ship on time, so they get to us in January, February. And so there may be some good options for you guys to check out there. So groworganic.com. The next one that I have up for you guys, this one is a really, really cool. It's a really cool story, and I'm not going to get into it too much here, but this is called Planting Justice. And they're very keen on outreach in the local community. They will ship, of course. And just the story behind it. If you do nothing else with all the information that you get here, go to their website and read some of the About Us and see what some of their outreach programs are. Now, they do have a lot of options here under the shop tab for things like fruit trees. Hopefully I got the right spot. But we have purchased a few things from them. In fact, jujubes. Mm-hmm. The first 3 jujubes we got on the farm here were actually from Planting Justice, and they were potted, came in very, very small pots, and they were very small, but the Ant Admire, the Empress G or Gi, and the Lang Jujube all came from these guys. And by the way, those are extremely large, productive,
big, yeah.
wonderful jujube trees that we got from these guys. So a great option there. And again, I think one of the things that I love about that, guys, go to their About Us page and read their story. That's all I'll say. Even if you don't buy anything from them, go there and read about it, and then maybe you'll buy something because of that story. So check that one out. Okay, moving right along. This here is One Green World. I do not recall what we bought from them, but I had a receipt, and I don't remember offhand. I want to say it might have been a jujube. It could have been the pistachios. Either way,
Bought a lot of trees.
we have bought a lot of trees. So this is another great option for an online nursery. I'll just kind of hover over their shop tab, but again, back to the right time of year. Excuse me while I take a drink. You know what? Seeing that, it might have been. It might have actually been the pineapple guava. It might have been that. Either way, so you can see the kind of as I'm sitting here on the screen. They got a lot of different. I wouldn't get your citrus here if you're here in Arizona, but and in fact they may not even ship there. A lot of places outside of Arizona won't, but you can see figs and whatnot. Either way, a very good online nursery that we've had success with, and another great option for us here across the country for finding some unique varieties. And again, fall is the time, so they're going to have some bare root options for you there. Now is the time to order those because they're going to be shipping here over the next couple of months. All right, got a few more for you guys here. So this one's a bit unique. This is Bob Wells Nursery. We have gotten pecans from him, and I can't remember. This might have been the pistachio one. I can't remember for sure. Either way, it is another option as far as a lot of different types of trees. And so you'll see, kind of looking through this here, you've got vining fruit, so you're going to have some different grapes. It looks like including some muscadines, different berries. Again, skip the citrus if you're here in Arizona, and then some fruit trees, nut trees. I can't see that.
Flowering
My old
trees.
eyes. And then what's that one?
Flowering trees and I think shade trees.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't get your shade trees here if you're in Arizona either. So again, focusing for us here in Arizona on your nut trees and your fruit trees. I would really focus on those, but another online option. And instead of bouncing back over to us, I'm just going to go right to our next tab. This one is it's called Shrubs and Trees Depot. This one I believe we did get some of our pecan trees from, and I don't recall what else. But you can see the front of their page there is pecan trees. Now you guys know how we feel about pecan trees, and generally speaking here in Arizona, unless you're on an irrigated lot, which we're jealous. Congratulations. But unless you're on an irrigated lot, these take so much water and they still struggle. We don't generally suggest these.
Yeah.
But if you want to give it a shot and you can't find something here locally, I know they do have a few different varieties that are a bit unique. Now they are bare root, and I will tell you, we have not had a whole lot of good success with bare root pecan trees. I think our success rate's maybe 30 to 40% when it's all said and done. But it is an option, and I know we had at least one of their trees survive for us, so that was good. But another option, and that is my Google page. So that is all. Bounce back over to Stark Brothers there, and we'll just kind of leave it there. So that's our list, and that is a pretty comprehensive list. I had mentioned there was at least one other online nursery that we struggled with. I don't want to downplay them only because they have good reviews. It could have just been the types of trees and varieties that we brought in, but we also brought them. They also shipped us late, which is never good. With a bare root tree, we got a few bare root trees from them, and I think we had about 25% of them survive. So, but you got these ones here, so we don't need to talk about the one that didn't do well for us. You got a great assortment there of online nurseries and local nurseries that we've had good success for us here in Arizona, and should do well for you as well. Now, last weekend, we had talked a little bit about timing and the importance of the fall season. So fall through spring. Now, if you guys are outside of Arizona and I say spring, you're thinking of like April. That's not spring for us. Spring for us is February. So the fall through spring timeframe for us, and maybe March. The planting season is basically now, right? So end of September in through beginning of March, maybe the middle of March. If you get beyond that time frame, you're really asking for trouble. So the only exceptions will probably be some of your tropical trees, which we don't suggest because we don't grow them here, only because they're very difficult for us here. So, but outside of those, which would kind of need to push into March, maybe even into April, outside of those, you're really looking at that fall through spring time frame, and now's the time to start looking at that. And you either start planting now, we're doing some of that, or you start planning for that winter season or that early spring season, late February, early March, when you start planting some of these fruit trees. That way they're safe and sound before we hit hell in June. So, but now is definitely the time. And these are great resources for us here in Arizona. So for those of you guys who ask us about our favorite nurseries, now you know.
Get a lot of people asking, where should I buy from?
Yep, happens all the time, and that's our list. So I'm sure you guys probably have some suggestions, so please leave them down in the comments section if we're already done and you guys aren't here right now, or if you guys have some suggestions, I'm sure we probably do, here in the chat section. One of the things you won't see on that list, you won't see any tropical nurseries, and that's because we don't generally suggest tropical trees here in Arizona because they're difficult to grow. So that doesn't mean don't do it. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. If you want to, and there's people that have been successful. There's just a lot of people who haven't. And so we don't suggest them only because they can be very, very difficult. We have a tough enough time as it stands growing non-tropical trees and that do really, really well. So that's those nurseries that we showed you. While they may have tropical trees, the vast majority of those are going to be stone fruit, palm fruit, some type of vine or a shrub. And all of those we know do well as long as you get the right variety and whatnot. And that's what we focus on. So you won't see the tropical ones there. So there are a couple. Seamus has got his tropical nursery down on the west side, southwest side. There are a couple of at least one tropical nursery. I always forget Tropical Concept is downtown. That's not on the east side, but there is one on the east side. I can't remember for the life of me. Trying to sell his business right now. Either way, there's one on the east side. You guys, if you can remember, put it down in the comment section for me. And then a Tropical Concept. They're down in Central Phoenix, and they don't have a website, so I couldn't bring that up, but they have a Facebook page. And back to tropical trees. Now, one of the things we bought from them, and the reason why I wanted to bring them up, is we bought a couple of loquat trees from them, right? Mm-hmm. So the Yehuda that we have on the old farm and the Yehuda that we have on this farm. Yes. Both came from them. And so the Yehuda, by the way, alive and well over the summer. So grown a little bit. It's a little stunted because it happens, but it's alive and well. So 100% success with that October planting time frame. And what do you know? Next month is October. So if you're going to plant a loquat tree, again, not on the list today because it's mainly tropical trees, but for loquats, Richard's Garden Center, if they have them, eventually they'll have them, and A Tropical Concept. You'll find them on Facebook, okay? So that'll be another option for your loquat trees.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do a tropicals, they have tropicals there as well.
Yeah.
So that pretty much all of them get from Florida. So either way.
And then you have Jay also. We've never been to Jay's property, so that's why he wasn't on our list.
Yep. Do you know what it's called?
I can't remember.
Neither do I. So, but we haven't been there. So
yeah.
He'd be a cool guy to meet. One of these days we should probably meet him. But either way, I know he does do, I believe, Dave Wilson trees, and I'm sure he propagates his own.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure he does too.
Mm-hmm. So
certain varieties.
Yeah. So either way, nice, extensive, comprehensive list there for you guys. So the next time somebody asks me, I'm going to forward you over here. So if you got over here because you asked, this is why you're here today. So get to planting, okay, guys? We got a week or two left. Beautiful day this morning. I'd be planting trees if I wasn't not allowed or restricted from it, but we'll be back on it next weekend.
Yeah.
We did plant a black Pakistan mulberry. You guys will see that tomorrow. So in tomorrow's episode, we're going to be talking about things to make sure you're doing or not doing when you're planting trees. We've seen some just horrendous things that have happened to folks. Just could have been avoided. And so we've got kind of the 5 things that we focus on when it comes to planting trees that'll hopefully steer you guys in the right direction. We got that coming down. You guys will watch us planting a black Pakistan, one of our black Pakistan mulberries. So you see us planting one of those over in the old goat area, right?
Yeah.
Goats are gone, chickens are in there, so we're planting a tree that'll be much bigger and give a bit more shade there. And so we got a couple more of those to plant, and we have a couple trees to pull. We'll share that with you guys this winter, and those are going to be replaced with a couple of jujubes.
Yep.
Right? But either way, that's all going to be planting for us, so it's coming.
Yep. And
All
Jay's is a Arizona fruit trees.
Okay, very good. Oh, that makes sense. I think that's his YouTube handle.
Is it? Okay.
So there we go. Yeah, Jay would be another good one. So, and is that Pam?
Yes.
Pam, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Pam.
You are such a sweetheart. Thank you so much.
All right, so getting into some questions.
Yes.
We are super excited to pick up our first turkey the weekend before Thanksgiving. What are your recommended best practices for visitors?
For
Someone coming to pick up a turkey.
bring a nice big cooler. These are big turkeys.
If you're close by, you don't necessarily need a cooler. But,
Yeah.
they're fresh, not frozen.
Yeah, they're not frozen, so you want a cooler. Yeah, we don't freeze our Thanksgiving turkeys. We process the day before. This year, we may actually have to process Friday. After Friday, we got so many. But they're basically processed within about 24 hours, and so they're cold, but they're not frozen, and so they are unique that way. You can't find that, to my knowledge, anywhere else in Arizona for your turkeys. So, and not freezing them does change the texture of the meat substantially. And so, either way, we'll have instructions that'll come out
Yeah,
the
we'll
week
get an
before.
email out.
Yep, so you'll see some details on that. But the biggest thing is bring a cooler. So, and big enough to hold a good, nice, big turkey. We've had some folks bring like little Playmate coolers and doesn't
Quite fit
in there. So these are big boys.
Yeah.
But thank you for buying one of those. We're looking
Yes.
forward to seeing you.
Does-
Before we move on,
Yeah.
we were talking about this the other day, but that is probably my favorite day of the entire year on the farm.
Turkey pickups.
Turkey pickup. And it's because, it's the holiday season that's starting. We're playing Christmas music. We're doing all this stuff. And we get to meet everybody. Everybody's excited. We're excited. And it's the end of our season. Because the fall is so busy for us. With chicken processing, chicken workshop, farm tour, Thanksgiving. We got all this stuff that leads up to that, and it's all done. Right?
Yeah.
So you guys are happy. We're happy.
We get to just hang out,
Yeah.
Enjoy people coming, picking, turkeys up,
Yep,
chatting with people.
It's not stressful. If you guys have been on farm tours and stuff, it's really busy. We're always moving and we're really busy. We're not that day, and so it's just it's a cool time.
Yeah. Does Dwayne have a new ring for CCA 3 weeks? I'm not sure what that means.
I'm not sure what that is either, but yes, I do. So that is actually just an Amazon special. So this is Lori's got one too. So one of the things when you're working on the farm, you realize pretty fast is that a metal ring on your finger can be dangerous and it's painful. So we have found that we were not wearing them. And so, Lori can't because she's lost a diamond.
Yeah, I lost my first diamond on the farm, and so I don't wear my rings at all. So the only time I wear my ring is when I go somewhere. And so, you kind of feel bad because it's like I never had my wedding ring on.
Yep. And I started working from home, and same thing. It's shocking how much it gets caught on things, which can be dangerous. And so I got into the habit of not having it on. Well, I go to work one day a week. So I go to work and forget it. I was upset all day, and so I'm like, okay,
we're getting silicone rings.
Yeah, we're getting silicone rings that we just keep on all the time. Yeah. Either way, that's what that is.
Yeah. When would you have mulberry trees again, bare root or potted?
So we won't do bare root trees. The goal that we have. So the two things that we want for people that come here that buy trees from us. Number one, we want to make sure it's the right variety. So obviously we control that when it comes to the entire process. We control that whole thing, which is unique. So that was number one. Number two is we wanted to make sure that you have the most chance of success. So we don't sell cuttings. We probably will never sell cuttings. And only because we want somebody that buys from us, we want them to have the highest chance of success. So these varieties are grown here. They do well here. They produce well here, and they're potted. So they're in soil, and as long as you follow our planting directions and stuff, there's a high probability that they're going to be successful for you and they're going to produce for you. So the second part of that is timing, because we sold out of everything, well, except for those two that you saw. It takes about 1.5 years or so for those to actually be ready to sell is what we found. So the reality is it won't be until spring of 2027. We might have some in the fall of next year. So we'll kind of see
how well they grow.
see how well they do over the summer, because they have to grow over the summer. And we wouldn't sell them prior to that because they won't be ready prior to that. And I wouldn't feel comfortable selling them prior to that because, again, we want to make sure the roots have established well and they're going to transplant well. So, yeah.
Did you have some harvest from your pecans?
No. We are probably still several years away from that. And so that's, again, another reason we don't generally suggest growing them here in circumstances like ours, unless you're on an irrigated property. They require so much water. We have found that they are growing better this year. So the zinc supplementation, I think, is working. We got a couple feet of growth out of all of them, which is great. That's a lot more than we've gotten. But they're still some of the smallest trees we have on the farm.
Yeah.
And these are trees that should be the largest trees we have on the farm. That's why they're back there. And so, but yeah, as far as production, we got our first catkins this year on one of the trees, but no production because the other trees that cross-pollinated are not pollinating because they aren't big enough yet. So, yeah.
I have 6 trees I want to plant this fall here in Minnesota, but for some reason it feels like 96 today.
Oh my goodness, you're hotter than we are. We're 93 degrees today out here in Whitman. Unbelievable. Well, I mean, you're probably still okay. As long as, and I've never grown fruit trees in Minnesota, but I'm sure you're probably looking at a first frost date here in another month would be my guess, right? So I'm assuming it's October. You can let me know. But I would imagine it's October. So I'm sure these warm days are fleeting.
Yeah.
For us, 96 in November is normal.
Did you taste some good persimmons from your trees?
Nope. I don't know that we'll ever get persimmons either. So I don't know. I don't know whether we've talked much about persimmons, and there's a reason why. They're all gone, right? And they all shriveled up. So it was just the heat and the sun killed them all. So I think both trees got a fruit set this year. A couple dozen on the Fuyu or the, is it the Fuyu? I can't remember. Either way. So, but the chocolate persimmon had some fruit set for the first time this year, and they are all gone. So, yeah, I don't anticipate getting anything off those trees. And by the way, as far as we talked a little bit about the pecan trees not being very big, and I said they're smaller than the vast majority of the trees. The persimmon trees are smaller than the pecan trees, and they're 5 years old. So, yeah.
What do you use to make from your pomegranates?
Well, we don't get any ripe fruit off of that, so not anymore. And so, wow, people are asking great questions here.
I know, we have a bunch of trees like, I don't know, we don't get any fruit off of it. Birds eat them.
Yeah.
The sun gets it.
Yeah.
We have made wine.
Wine, yeah. So the only
in
thing
the past.
Yeah, the only thing we've done with pomegranates is wine. So if we protect them, they get into, they need to basically get into December, and they're just fine. The biggest thing is you have to protect them all summer. We just don't do it because we have so many other things going on and so much other production. We just let those trees be the super high productive bushes that feed our ground squirrels that we can't stand.
Yeah. One of these
birds.
days when we actually have time and dedicated to trying to save some of those, we will go and cover them.
Yeah, those you have to cover. So birds and ground squirrels. And we pretty much all get ground squirrels here in central Phoenix or the central part of Arizona, and birds do it as well. So woodpeckers will take them out. The curved-bill threshers, I watched them on there pecking away. And so that's the challenge with them. But it did make a fantastic wine.
It did.
So
really good wine.
I would love to, at some point, we probably will have to do that. Make sure we do save a few and do a nice little batch of red wine.
Another wine, yeah. I know you use sweet potatoes as cover crop. Have you tried growing any other varieties for primarily eating, like Yukon Golds, Russets, Reds, or any purple varieties?
Right. So we have 2 that we've grown. We've grown a red. I don't remember the variety, but it was like a standard red sweet potato. And the one that basically you see everywhere on its ground cover is a purple variety. So that purple variety is the one that seems to do the best. And
He's asking if we've grown other for eating.
Yeah, that's what I'm heading there.
Okay.
So we had the red and then the purple. We've grown both of those varieties. Both of those when we started were for eating, and we've had them both, and they're okay. I think the biggest thing is we have not paid good attention to the harvesting time frame, because we need to harvest them before the winter time. We let them go too long and they get real stringy. They get those strings that kind of go through your sweet potatoes. And so at this point, we don't really eat carbohydrates like that. And so they've truly become just a ground cover.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the golds, the russets, those. We've never grown because we don't eat potatoes.
Yeah, we don't eat potatoes.
Did you mention Green Life Nursery?
No, that's Seamus, right? Isn't that?
Oh, is
Seamus?
it? I don't know. It might be Seamus.
So we did briefly, and I've actually never been to that nursery.
Been to his old one.
Went to his old nursery. In fact, our white Pakistan mulberry, that's not a white Pakistan mulberry. That's where that one came from. There you go. I'll leave it at that.
What is your favorite jujube variety, and can they be grown in a pot?
I would not grow them in a pot, to answer the second part of that question. The roots are way too aggressive for a pot. I would tell you that if you grew it in a pot and there was ground underneath it, you're going to wind up with sprouts around it from the roots that are that aggressive. So I don't know that I would try. But as far as our favorite, right now it's probably the Aunt Admire, right? But I mean, when you get them at the right ripeness, like the Lang is very, very good when it's perfectly ripe. Otherwise, it's not. The Empress G, or G, I'm just going to call it G. The Empress G is really, really good. It's nice and big when it's perfectly ripe. Otherwise, it's not. The Aunt Admire pretty much tastes good all the time. And we got a couple of honey jars on there that we let stay. That tree's exploding, by the way. And that honey jar is fantastic.
Yeah, but this is first year that we've let it keep a couple of fruits on it. And so we'll see how that does after we get a
and then the
production.
Shangji, however you pronounce that, Lee, is very good as well, but again, needs to be perfectly ripe. So we got a couple more varieties that we're looking at now that will probably be there with you guys ordering online here over the next couple of weeks, and planning on pulling out a couple of pear trees to replace them, because the pear trees just don't do well. So we're tired of looking at them not grow, and so we want
looking ugly
and looking horrible, and so we're gonna yank a couple of those, and we'll still have a few, but put them to a tree that's gonna grow big, easily, produce really well. All the things that we want.
I bought 2 trees this spring in heavy pulp pots. They are doing great under shade with new growth. Should I plant the entire pot? Is it going to decompose too slowly?
I would not plant it in that pot. So I agree, it's going to decompose too slowly. Here's the challenge. I'm assuming they're here. Are they here in Arizona? Did they say?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to assume that you're here in Arizona. So I'm speaking to you as if you are. The challenge we have here is our soil is extremely hard and very, very dry. So if you were going to do that, you'd have to be very diligent about watering up against the trunk of the tree, which we highly suggest not doing. And the reason being is you need to get the roots out and away from that tree as quickly as possible, because a root ball that's this big in Arizona is a root ball that's going to die. So you need those roots growing away as fast as possible. The wonderful part about our winters, so if you're planting now, is they are generally fairly warm, relatively warm. Tucson, so it's here. So short answer, don't plant it in the pot. You need those roots to go out as fast as possible. That will at least slow them down at minimum. So yeah, pull it out of the pot. There's no reason to put it in that pot. What else?
How are the guinea birds doing?
Fantastic. If we had a window open, you'd be able to hear them saying hello. So I will say we knew what we were getting into, and boy, are they loud. And they like to chat all the time.
They like to let me know when they're out of food, too.
Oh, yeah, they will let you know. They will let you know.
As soon as they see me, they all start going. I'm like, I'm coming.
Yep. If a leaf blows and it's a little too loud, they will let you know that. Yeah. But no, they're doing great. We have not started training them yet. So we're going to show you guys that once we get started with that, probably sometime this winter. So once we get the training started, we will show you how we're going to train those, and hopefully it'll work. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yep.
What was the lowest temperature you remember on your farm?
20 degrees, 20. So we hit 20 degrees, which is 9A territory. If you guys are into zones, you guys know that Phoenix is 9B. We are officially 9B. but we're really kind of more at the 9A level with it being a few degrees cooler out here. But yeah, we hit 20 degrees solid at the old farm several days in a row, and that's one of the reasons that you don't see tropical trees here. That kills a full-grown mango tree, so we just are not going to do that.
Yeah, it killed our Barbados cherry tree. Mm-hmm. It killed our
passion fruit,
our passion fruit, and even our moringa tree.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, killed all those dead to the ground. They never came back. The Barbados tried, and
Let's do this real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, is Misco here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Barbados cherry died, and the green tree moringa. So the moringa died. So, and they both tried to come back, but could not make it. Misco, if you're there, we got another one of these creme brulees that you sent us. This is from Slovakia. Little snack that Misco, he's here almost every week. Lives in Slovakia and sold us a bunch of these. We've been trying them every week. So we're going to give this a shot. Give this a shot. So I know that it says, my old man eyes are failing me. Pistachio cream. Ooh. Dubai Crunch. I'm down. Got another question?
No.
Oh, this is perfect timing.
Yeah, that's why I was like, let's do this.
All right, well,
here towards the end.
While we're eating here, this will be fun without a tooth.
At least it's in the back.
And it's soft.
Yeah.
That's very good.
That one good?
Yep. I don't know if I can taste pistachios. Can you taste pistachios?
So I took a little bit of the just the cream. And you can a little bit. Yeah.
Good. Tell you one of the things about that. It's definitely sweet for us, but is I know I can't read the directions or the ingredients because it's Slovakian, so I can't read it. It's in another language, but they've been high fiber, and it does taste like that's got a good amount of fiber in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah, but a good amount of sweetness too. So not overly sweet, like a lot of like candies or candy bars or anything like that.
Yeah, when you don't eat carbohydrates and sugar, everything is sweeter. It's amazing how much that is so true, and how we, especially as Americans, we're just out of whack, man. We're just totally out of whack. And I mean, for me, I've always considered myself relatively healthy. So to get those test results last year, it shocked me enough into, okay, you need to get a little bit more serious about what you're eating, my friend.
And mine were fine.
Hers were perfect. Whatever.
So we had to go and change our whole diet because of him.
Yeah, but how do you feel?
I feel great.
There you go. You look great too. You always do, but yeah, you look.
Daryl he's in 9A, and they had record low 6 degrees last winter and killed 8 of his citrus trees.
Oh my! Well, yeah, of course. That's way too cold for citrus. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Even at 20 degrees, remember the pomelo started really struggling. I mean, we thought we were going to lose the pomelo on the old farm. Mm-hmm. It lost most of its leaves browned. The lime really struggled a bit. So we had a couple of those. Last weekend, we were talking a little bit about planting time frames, and we talked about citrus and how there's a few citrus you don't want to plant in the fall. So it's best to just plant all your citrus in the spring. You can do it, but it's best to plant it all in the spring. Was those couple varieties that just don't do well with the cold, but that's 20 degrees, not 6.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh.
So, what test results are you speaking of?
Oh, if you guys were not here earlier, I was talking about my blood test results from my annual physical. Real quick, to rehash. Sorry if you guys were here in the beginning. I'll buzz through it though, because we're bumping up against time. So last year, I got my annual physical, had high blood sugar, so pre-diabetic, and high cholesterol. And so cholesterol numbers were all out of whack. High blood pressure, elevated blood pressure. And so we went on changed our diet. We started doing intermittent fasting, and the test results, perfect blood sugar.
For this year.
This year.
Was last year.
This week.
This year.
Went to the doctor this week. Normal blood pressure. Cholesterol numbers dropped on a keto diet. But HDL went up to 92. 90 some. That's like super, super high, good cholesterol. LDL dropped substantially. Triglycerides were basically almost non-existent. They're like 40 or 50. I don't remember what the number is. Either way, the cholesterol numbers all look great. Blood sugar was perfect. And blood pressure was perfect. So yeah, just overall health was just significantly improved, and I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm. So just talking about, how we eat and live. It's all about that. Any other last minute questions as we butt up against 3 o'clock?
Nope.
All right.
I don't think so. Hold on,
So-
let me just make sure.
All right. So just want to thank you guys.
Do you need some medicine for it?
Do I need some? No, I don't. All diet. So this was all diet and lifestyle exercise, and the diet is very easy to follow. It's meat, vegetables, and fresh fruit in that order. And those are your kind of what you eat the most of. Mainly meat with some veggies and very limited fruit, and fruit only from the farm. We don't eat fruit from any other place.
So really, it's in our smoothies, because we do a smoothie each day, and so we do fruit that we harvest, froze.
We do a lot of supplements in it too. So, but yeah. Good.
Yep.
All right. So just want to thank you guys for joining us today. This has been the Desert Farmer Podcast. I'm pretty sure it was episode 71. A lot of information out there for you guys today as far as our favorite nurseries, so I really hope you enjoyed this and found it useful. Again, remember to give us a thumbs up. That definitely helps us here. And when we're done here, if you guys can go back and leave your comments as far as other nurseries and things like that, that'll definitely help folks that are watching this video and want to maybe have some other resources, especially if you're here in Arizona, but really anywhere. If you're outside of Arizona, though, specify, if you could for me, please, that you're outside of Arizona making this suggestion. Otherwise, if you're here in Arizona, please suggest those. It is definitely a unique area. But we do this podcast every Saturday at 2 o'clock Arizona time. This time is for you guys. Time is the most valuable thing we have on the planet. You guys choose to share that time with us. We do not take it for granted. This is our way of giving back to you guys who give so graciously to us all the time here. We just want to make sure this is about you. So questions, if you want to see us cover a topic here, maybe be a detailed topic. That's our primary or our highlighted topic of the week. Send those in any way you like. You can get a hold of us through our website. You can message us there. You can email us. Easy to find us that way. Lori's phone number all over the internet. That's her personal cell. You can text her or call her. Not anytime, okay? But
it turns off. So
yeah, you can send it that way. YouTube comments here. A lot of different ways of doing that. Please send those in. It is what drives this for you guys. I want to make sure we can do that for you. So just want to thank you again for joining us today and remind you again, next Saturday will be our next one at 2 o'clock Arizona time. But before then, just want to remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere,
so can you.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye.